Yo, it's Guido coming at you with an update for the Squall. I did a tank review of this about a week, maybe a week and a half ago, something like that. And if you remember that, I was a little bit, I wasn't necessarily down on it. I was certainly down on my capability with the thing because I was doing rather poorly in it. But I did realize that it was a pretty cool tank and it was going to take a bit of learning. So not even I can just jump into any tank and dominate. Yeah. If you find a tank that you're doing poorly in, you might want to try to learn how to play it. You know, a little introspection, a little bit of analysis on how you play. A lot of what I thought was more or less true. My big problem with it was just being a little bit overly aggressive and maybe to some extent playing it too much early in matches as a pure scout. You still have to be careful with it. In that case, it is a large scout, but if it gets to mid to late game, it can be absolutely deadly. But you do have to be careful. So let's take a quick update on how I've been doing. If you might remember, I was, I think, pretty well below 50%. Right now, I'm at 54%. That was after 10 battles that we talked last, and now we're at 35 battles, and we've clawed our way to 54%. Still kind of low on the average experience of 781. I'm going to go ahead and sort this here because I want to show the difference between this and the Blesk. The Blesk, you can see I'm at 60% win rate, but the numbers are about the same. My damage is a bit higher in the Squall at 989 and the Blesk at 848, but the Blesk is 853 assist, and the Squall is at 603, 200 less, actually 250 just about, if not exactly. Well, math in public, how are we doing? Yes, there you go. Exactly. Exactly. That kind of checks, actually. I feel like the Blesk is a little more pure scout, going to have a bit better capability with the assist and the spotting kind of stuff. And the Blesk, I think, is able to drop a little bit more damage than the Squall. They're pretty similar, but remember the Blesk is the smaller scout, so it has a little more ability with that. What are we doing? We're doing 55% with hits. Battle survived is increasing to 37. My Blesk is at 36, so that checks. 1.04 damage, 1.68 destruction, no armor to speak of still. I don't expect that to change at all. And I have now got to Ace Mastery 1, or a Class 1 Mastery. Not an Ace, I guess it is. Which that will be the game we're going to look at right after this. So general improvement, I would say. Let's take a look at the stats so far. These are pretty similar, guys. Honestly, it's still one of the most, right behind it looks like, the ELC on the NA server. A lot of people are playing it. It is still -2 on the win rate differential, and that is that's bad. That is probably down here overall win rate wise with the 4190 and the T92, which both have better win rate differentials. The issue with that, don't go too crazy with that stat. It is important to look at and go, wow, that's a thing. Is that right now the skill level of the people playing it, which is generally going to be your kind of power users of the game who bought a bunch of boxes and got it, generally are better players. Not all, of course, but generally. So right now the win rate of the people playing it is pretty high on average, which is bringing up its win rate here as well. So we'll see what happens with this. I'd say 6 months to a year. I think in a year, basically, when these new tanks come out, you have a better idea of where they're going to fall. So, for example, the EBR's been out forever, and it's just rocking, right? The 432's been out forever, rocking. The KPZ has a pretty good player base because it's a reward tank, I believe, as I recall. I think it is. So it's got a pretty good percentage. ELC even 90 is the even 90. It's the known GOAT, even though it's at third, but it's played by a lot of people. That's the beauty of the ELC. Look at this, plus 0.530. That means that on average, it gets a better win rate than the player that's playing it. Their average anyway. Okay, and I think that's an important stat for this because A, it's been out forever. B, everybody plays it. All skill levels love this thing, and it gets played a shit ton. Right, so that's a pretty solid number right there, pretty solid number. All right, so that's how that thing is going. Pretty happy with what I've done with this. It was a bit of a struggle early on. I wasn't really sure where I was supposed. I guess I had a good idea of where I needed to go, but I wasn't able to execute that. And right now, I feel like I'm getting into the groove with the Squall. What I'll also say about that is with new tanks you're learning, If you play it a bunch in a row, or you don't have to play it completely in a row. You can put other tanks in there, but you concentrate on it for a while. You will improve in that tank. You'll learn its quirks. You'll learn what it can do, what it can't do. That's kind of where I am right now. I'll be honest. A lot of times I can do that in about 10 battles, but that's with more standard tanks. With some of these weird, quirky tanks that have different play styles than just your standard medium or standard heavy or standard light tank, sometimes it does take me a while to start figuring that out. So if you are struggling with the Squall, maybe some of this can help you. Keep at it. It is really a pretty good light tank, and eventually you'll get better at it. All right, let's take a look at some gameplay. All right, here's the gameplay. Of course, it's on proc, right? We got to show a proc video of doing well in a scout, and then that proves that everything is right and fine in the world. Correct? Why not? Why not? Hold on, I gotta shift here. Gotta do that. All right, stretch out. Shift over a little bit, grab my coffee. No artillery, that's very nice. 2 light tanks on the other side, an LHMTV and a Squall. We do have an even 90. The even 90, I see him going over to this 1-2 line. I figure he's probably going to post up there and do a nice job. He might even push down the line a little bit. I don't know. Let's find out what happens with that. We don't have a whole lot of support. We're going to go right up to the middle right there. A whole lot of support on the 1-2 line, although there's, what, 4 tanks or so. So I'm going to pop there. There's no artillery. It's one of the big reasons why I'm doing that. And initially, if you can get up to that ridge quickly and get a few cheeky shots in, usually there's not too many guys pointing and waiting for you to pop over. But they know I'm there now, so we're just going to be careful about it. Let's see if we can spot somebody. These first couple pokes up here are going to be just kind of exploratory ideas here. I'm not going to stick around too long, guys. That's one thing I've learned with this tank, is standing in just to shoot everything you have is not a great idea. Take what you can get, and if you feel like you're going to get spotted, then you probably are, to be quite honest. That, I guess, applies to the whole game, but especially in a little tank like this that does not take return fire very well. I don't know, I'm just lobbing stuff at that guy. We're going to get a lot of silver out of this game. Now, I see the LHMTV moving in, and that's big trouble. We need to get rid of him. He makes a bit of a mistake there. I don't know what he's thinking. Anyway, I'm glad he did this, though. We're on a reload. I'm just going to pop up and over, and we'll slow down. We'll wait till the reload's there, and we'll finish that guy off. Boom, and push down. I kind of wish I'd actually gone down the hill just a bit right there, especially since I had so much time to wait. My timing was off on my reload, because I was really asking to get shot in the back by either someone up on the ridge or maybe further back up on the hill off to the west side of the map there. There's somebody around because I got spotted. So we've got 600 damage, 146 assists, not too much in terms of damage and assists, but we do have a kill. And we killed one of their artillery, not artillery, light tanks. See that guy, I'll just sort of shoot what I can and we'll get out of there. That was nice. I'm glad that shot missed. We got the CC-67 just standing in and slapping people. I considered pushing the Shrek, but he's got 800 something hit points, guys. That's going to be a bit of a tough ask, even for this tank's gun and the amount of damage you can kick out. I don't have the depression right there. That was not a great poke, by the way. Fellas, there is a, as you can see, a little bit further left, it's flatter. Right there, I was kind of up on a slope that was going that way, and unfortunately my tank's gun depression was not able to handle that. And this is what I'm talking about with learning this tank. Just being a little bit more careful, or maybe even a lot of bit more careful with it. Getting the shots when I can. Looking for opportunities. The LHMTV, now look. When the enemy team makes mistakes, don't interrupt them while he's in the middle of it, but you can absolutely take advantage of it here. And if you have a big game, usually some people made some stupid moves, but in terms of this tank and going ahead and taking advantage of stupid moves, this is where this tank loves to live. This is its wheelhouse. We're just going to come in here. He gets a piece of me, but there is no way he's going to survive that. Just, I mean, if you're a fan of this tank, that's the kind of gameplay you love, where you're able to just come in there. A little bit worried that the T-32 is going to get another shot on me there. We'll duck down low. We're getting more assists out of that. We got 1,300 and 800 assists. Game is really going into our favor now. You'll notice that the ELC, I talked about at the beginning, he hasn't done anything. I don't know what his spotting is. I didn't actually bother to look at it. Maybe he's getting some good work done, probably getting some spotting damage in there. He did spot some dudes further back that are now dead. And that's okay, but at some point, if you look at this game, right, who is unspotted? Who is unspotted? The XM57. The Scorpion G is on the 1-2 line, and probably the XM57 because he's unspotted. Not necessarily, but most likely. That puts only 2 guys and no scouts left, fellas. And the ELC even 90 isn't doing anything. That sort of blew my mind. I'm going to come over here. I think I actually pay for this maneuver. Let's see what happens. I'm going to come up here and see if I can get some shots on somebody. Yeah, dang it. That Type 57 found me. That's not good. So that was the uncareful side of me, being a little over-aggressive and just giving up hit points for nothing. Honestly, let's think about that poke. What was the purpose of that poke? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Maybe I thought I was going to get some shots on those guys. I wasn't, though. And more or less getting their front armor. I might get into the side, but there's the T-32. There's the hold down 57. There's a Type 63. Oh, by the way, I guess I missed him. He must not have been spotted either. So there was something else over on that other side getting lit by the ELC, even 90. But that was just a really stupid poke, and that is the kind of thing you absolutely must minimize when you're driving this tank. So while I am here to report that I've got better, I still have my challenges in it. Being a relatively aggressive, sometimes over-aggressive player, even in light tanks, this is a tank that you really can't afford to do that in. If you do it, try to minimize. Also, if you do it, hopefully the enemy team is horrible, like this one. To be fair, oh, see, I just can't quite get the gun depression. Can't quite get the gun depression. I was using that rock, by the way, to shield that Type 57. You can use that for guys using the metal to try to keep them from shooting you. Now we're going to fall back. So the 63 died, and now what I said earlier, the XM57 is in fact the only guy unspotted, and the T69. I guess I missed 2 of them. He's going to show up here pretty soon. All that being said, with the light tanks, it's time to move. I'm very curious why. I don't understand why the ELC even 90. This is something for you light tank players to think of. It's fine to get in a bush and be Mr. Stealth Guy, and if you're cranking up the assist, that's great, but pay attention to the wider game. Look at the minimap, understand the tactical situation, and go, you know, this was good. I did some good work. Now I can just sneak forward in my ELC, and these snippers back here are going to have a heyday. And if he's not going to do it, I'll do it. The reason I can is there's no other light tanks here, guys. There's no other light tanks. There's the T69. He's not a factor. I don't want to walk into the XM57. I do have to be careful here, though, by the way, because the Type 57 is relatively close to me. There are some openings. In fact, you're going to see me screw it up right here. So we move forward, we move forward, we move forward. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm so sneaky, so Mr. Sneaky Guy. I'm so sneaky. Ah, boy, oh boy, oh boy. See that opening? And he was right there. See that? Watch that opening right there. That is such a rookie maneuver right there. I know that spot's there, and I did it anyway. In fact, you saw me looking like, I wonder if he's going to see me. Oh yeah, sure, he is. I backed up, really thinking I was going to take a shot from the XM if he was around. Now I'm going to go, in case I have gone dark, I'm going to go low here, so that I am now lower in this terrain and I will not be seen by the Type 57. I'm a bit worried though that the XM is going to be sitting right there. So I'm going to swing around that low spot and then carve back in. Okay, got lucky. Good, I'll take it though. That's not whether you get lucky, fellas, it's what you do with it. So we're going to move up to here. Sneaky, sneaky. I thought he would see me. Not quite. Notice how I didn't quite get into proxy light range. But this kind of surprised me here. He is completely dark, right? So I'm going to hold for a second. Now let's see. I'll be honest, man. I would have sworn, based on these bushes, that there is no way he could see me. There's nobody else around. I'm pretty sure it's not one of these. Nope, it's not these guys. Very interesting, actually. So I switch over to the APCR so I can get a little more pen, and he's even further away. Look at that. Huh. I don't know, fellas. I honestly don't understand that one. How I don't think there's anyone here. There isn't. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. I still don't get that. I mean, somebody who's smarter. Maybe these bushes here are not quite what I think they are, but I'm well behind several of them. And there's a whole row right there. A whole row. We are close, but that was wild to me. And then I get slapped by their CC-67 from across the map. Drops a pixel snipe onto my hatch. Here's the next place where this thing is absolutely brutal. These end game moments like this with this auto cannon getting in. Well, anybody getting behind a 148 hit point guy is going to have a good day. It took me a while longer to kill him than I thought. But this thing shuts down near deads so nicely. So the X, I keep wanting to call him the TD. What is it? What is that thing? XM57. Okay, it's there you go. It's the same number, 57. Come over here. We're going to look for that nice shot on this guy. There we go. Puts his front armor to me. That's pretty smart. We're going to bail out of this. It looked like he might want to push me. I think he thinks better of it because he knows he can't quite come up high right there. So I'm just going to bail out of this thing. Go somewhere else. I think he ignores me after a moment here and starts going, there you go. So he ignores me. He realizes he's going to have to fight these other heavies. But this gives me an opportunity right here to just lay the smack into him. Somebody else takes a big chunk out of him. I'll finish him off. 2,354 damage. 2,349 assists for a combined, 4,600? I don't know if there's any extra damage in there. 4 kills. And this is only an ace master, or it's not, well, mastery 1. It's not an ace. But a mastery 1 with 1,300 experience. And check out the amount of silver this thing made. And that's one of the things I love about this tank is you can fire all day your AP and not feel too badly about it because the gold rounds do less damage. Isn't that interesting? Gold rounds do less damage, and because you're usually trying to shoot into the back or sides of things with this, it doesn't matter as much for the penetration. You will notice that I did switch over for a couple clips there. I think I might have forgotten to switch back, to be honest. Don't remember if I did, but I did switch over with intuition so I can shoot into the lower plate, relatively thick lower plate of the XM57 thing. So there you go. Gameplay on improving my play with the Squall. I've clawed myself above 50%. Definitely some lessons to be learned with driving this tank. You have to be very careful to not overexpose yourself. The fun of the gun, the brrr thing, is going to really tempt you to stand in more than you want to. So look for opportunities mid and late game to do some of the things I did there and avoid the opportunity to lose hit points with stupid pushes like I did as well. That is all I've got today, guys. Have a great one. Good luck with your Squall out there. Let me know what you think of this thing. We will see ya.